Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hook. In the last part we beat pretty much the rest of the main stages and now we're on the final one, ladies and gentlemen. Now stage 10 here is, honestly, the hardest stage in the game in terms of what you have to do. In fact, I will say it has the hardest section of the game in it without a doubt. Throughout the entire level you'll be fighting all the past pirate enemies you've been fighting pretty much since stage 2. The normal knife guys, the archers, the bomb, musket, and boomerang guys will even show up later. And I want to mention that throughout this entire level, we are on Hook's ship, which makes me wonder how big is this thing, and why does it have spikes in it? That's it's kind of an odd design choice there, James Hook. You also find the boulder throwing guys who throw barrels at you a la Donkey Kong. Oh, and the guys who roll on barrels. Great music for a final level too, by the way. That exit there, you actually can't reach from down here unless you do a certain speedrunning trick, I believe. Mind you, we'll be heading there eventually anyway. And shot with an arrow. Ouch. Anyway, here we are back there. I should mention, there's actually a room to the left that has another leaf in it, so if you needed a third or fourth unit of health, there's one in there. Freaking muskets! Actually, those are just some sort of weird handguns, aren't they? Either way, stop it! And I went right into it. Anyway, after you do all that, just use the ferry down there to replenish your flight to max and fly all the way to the top. And welcome to my least favorite section of the game that's not a full level. The spike chamber. Ow! And I figured I might as well show you guys what the respawn animation looks like. Plus, I don't think I lost much time on it to begin with. Throughout this, you're gonna want to keep your flight as much as high as you, your fly meter as high as you can, because the spikes here. Well, first off, this section's long, and the spikes here do hurt. Thankfully, they're not instant kill. There are ways to avoid the enemies, but it's honestly best that you just don't, and then you die anyway. The hitboxes on these spikes are slightly disjointed. I will say that much. And one thing you need to keep in mind, when you're flying and you go into different flying positions like diagonal and such, your hitbox changes to that direction, so just because you think you're straight doesn't mean you are. In terms of directional orientation. I will say, I do like doing this section like this. This is actually pretty fun to do. Although you probably don't have to turn left like that. I only did that so I could not get hit by a barrel. And I ended up dying anyway. By the way, that's the last death in the game. Yeah, 15 deaths. I didn't even need the infinite lives code. I think I would have had more than 15 lives by this point. Hey, it's this kid again, whose name I still haven't looked up because I haven't watched the movie again. Note, he can hurt you in this section, so don't get too close. Actually, didn't he do this in the movie? Yeah, he did. Huh. Thanks, kid. Anyway, time for the final battle against Captain James Hook himself. Alrighty then, Dustin Hoffman, bring it on. Fun fact, if you stand here at the very left, he cannot hit you. The way you actually go about fighting Hook's a bit different from the other bosses. He can't be hit from behind or in front normally. The way you damage him is that you attack when he's about to, so when he goes into that little seizing back motion, just attack and you'll beat him. He only takes about 4 or 5 hits, nothing that big. And that's the final stage clear! And that also means we got a cutscene, which due to the music and me not being able to voice things correctly, silence! That scene was a lot sadder than the actual movie, I will say that much. Anyway, true final boss, yet again against Captain James Hook. The first phase of the battle is... he's actually going to start throwing his hook at you. However, in doing so, he leaves himself open to attack, and after you knock his hook off in 3 hits, you just have pretty much the same fight as the old one, except there's no invulnerability areas. So, pretty much, do the same thing you did last time after that point. Love the music here, by the way. Bit short, but still awesome. And he's down! That is game over, guys. Jeez, that is a stage clear points leap. That doubled from the last time. Booyah! Let's watch that final cutscene. You know, in all the years since I've first seen the movie, that crocodile scene never made sense to me. So, yeah, that was Hook for the Super Nintendo. Overall, I think it's a really enjoyable game, actually. I'll admit there are some problems with it, be it Stage 8, really easy bosses, and a bit of a learning curve when it comes to the controls with the way the momentum works. But I think it's an overall enjoyable experience, really fun. Great soundtrack, especially. Then again, when you have John Williams on your side, you're kind of invincible when it comes to that area. Looks pretty good, too. Now, if you want to play this, there's actually a plethora of versions of this. Sadly, none of them are on Virtual Console releases, as far as I'm aware. The most notable ones are this game on Super Nintendo, Sega CD, Sega Genesis, and Sega Game Gear, so if you have any of those, you can get this game. However, this isn't the only Hook game ever made. There was an arcade beat-em-up that allowed you to play as Peter or any one of 4 Lost Boys with 4-player maximum, which is actually pretty cool. There was a side-scrolling platformer released for the NES and Game Boy, but that sucked, so I'm gonna be honest. And then there was a point-and-click adventure game that was released for the Commodore 64, Amiga, and then later released for the Atari ST and PC. Honestly, out of all of them, I think this is the best one. Also the most accessible. Oh, and by the way, your audio is not freaking out, neither is mine. There is actually no music for this part, ironically enough, because this is where the music credits come up. So if you want to play it, I highly recommend it. And if you haven't seen the movie, actually, I highly recommend it. Some people don't like it that much, and I can see why. It is kind of silly at times, and I can admit that it has its problems, but I overall recommend it. To this day, it's one of the few things that my brother and I completely agree on loving. It's on Netflix right now if you want to watch it, considering I know this will be uploaded within the next week, actually, because I originally thought this would take me like a week to record the entire game, but all the parts have been recorded this one day. The first part's going up tomorrow, Monday the 18th. So yeah. Not much else to say, really, except for... actually, you know what, I'll save that until after the little thing we're about to see. So, overall, go out and watch the movie. You guys owe it to yourselves. I cannot recommend it enough. It's warm, friendly family fun, though. As is the game. Though it's nowhere near as hard as I thought it would be. I really should not have used that infinite lives cheat. Ah, well. So, yeah. With that somewhat abrupt ending, admittedly, right there, that was Hook for the Super Nintendo. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. And as for the actors that this was a tribute to, Bob Hoskins, be it as Eddie Valiant back in Roger Rabbit, which was a movie that actually kind of freaked me out as a kid, or as, admittedly, Mario in the Mario movie, even though I know he hated that role, I have always respected him as an actor, and I will always enjoy watching his movies. And Robin Williams, you, sir, are always an inspiration to me. You always made me smile whenever I caught you on something, especially that one episode of Who's Line. And I cannot respect this man enough. He made so many people happy, and he was even one of us gamers. He was a big fan of World of Warcraft, and was such a big Zelda fan, he named his daughter that like I did my cat. And, my god, you are one of us, and we love you for that, Robin Williams. Oh, Captain, my Captain, rest in peace.
Jeannie, I'm gonna miss you.
Me too, Al. No matter what anybody says, you'll always be a prince to me.